Welcome back to part 2. We're just gonna get straight into the hands. Screw the BS.
Alright, screw the bullshit like he said. We're just gonna jump right back into the action. And in this first hand coming back, I'm peeling Jack Queen of clubs. I'm on the button and there's a raise to 20 ahead of me. I make the call and 3 of us go to the flop. Flop comes out Queen, Tray, Ace, 1 club. I would expect this ace to hit someone else's range, but I'm looking to check call right now. I'm not going to give up yet, especially when I have a backdoor draw. But we get a free turn, which is a 6 of spades. Pretty much a brick on this board. Under the gun checks. The original raiser makes a bet for 20. I'm going to look him up, and so I call. The other guy ends up folding, so we go heads up to the river. A 9 of diamonds comes on the river, and he checks. I pretty much know I'm good at this point. I think I missed a bet right here. Who knows if he would have called or not. I just was a little worried that he might have had a weak ace, and I wasn't going to hang myself. Figured the showdown value, let's just see what happens, and I check. So this next hand's pretty simple. I get King Jack on the button. There's a few limpers, so I bump it up. Flop comes rag Jack, and everybody checks to me. I make a continuation bet of 40, and I take it down. There was multiple callers, so I really didn't want to see any more cards. It's a perfect flop for me, and so I made roughly a pot-sized bet, a little under, and was able to just take it down right there. A few hands later, I peel Queen 9, and there's a few stations like I previously mentioned in this game. I see that a couple of the stations end up limping into the pot, so I decide, given my position, I could throw $5 on this one and see what happened. I really wanted to mix it up with these few certain people as much as possible. So flop comes Queen 5 9. There are 6 players in this hand, so I really want to thin the field here, and I'm hoping some of my victims stay in. It gets checked up to me. I bet $25. There are a few callers. One of them my buddy. One of my targets makes the call. Turn ends up being a king, which is not a good card for me. I'm very scared of King Queen at this point. But there's no way to really find out where I'm at. It makes sense someone's going to be calling a hand like that, especially how many people were in the hand going to the flop. It does get checked up to me. I make a bet of 80, kind of on the lower side, trying to get a feel what's going on. I'm a little concerned at this point. My friend calls, and the mark ends up folding. So the river comes out, a 9. Bink. Beautiful card for me. My buddy checks. I bet out 100. My friend makes the call, starts smiling. I go ahead and show him the full house, and he laughs and shakes his head, and what do you think he shows? King Queen. So, miracle card on the river, we take this pot down.
That's the only hand I was scared of until the river.
It doesn't matter how see the way. Earlier, I made a mistake.
I peel 8, 9 of hearts. There's a couple limps ahead of me, so I decide just to limp. Contemplating a 3-bet, but there's a guy next to me stacking up some chips. It looks like he might actually raise, so I limp in, and of course the raise comes in. Makes it 25. I call
3 players
to the flop. There's a quick check.
Check. 60.
And the original raiser bets 60. Flop is 9-7-5. So I have a gutter and top pair. So I decide to stick in a raise right here. I bump it up to 125. He ends up folding, and we scoop this pot.
It's incredible. It's literally life-changing. Anybody that's ever come, every single person said, this changed my life. It was the best thing I've ever done.
That's what she said.
It's amazing, man.
So is there any negatives?
Not really, no.
5 to play.
Alright, in this next hand, there's a lot of table chatter going on. I squeeze pocket deuces, and the flop comes... I don't remember. I flopped a deuce, though. So we got a set of deuces. Everybody checks to me. I make a small bet of 15. and the entire table folds.
That's cool. That's
15.
cool.
15.
Bad
There
with it.
you go, ayahuasca.
Serious?
I did
Man.
Ay, mama.
Shrooms.
Thank you.
I guess the check was in order.
There are 4 or 5 limps up to me, and I'm in the hijack. I squeeze kings, and I raise to 15. There are 2 other callers that are ahead of me. Flop comes out 8, 9, queen, rainbow. They both check up to me. This board's really connected. Anybody who calls a pre-flop raise is going to be somewhat in this range. So I make a bet a little bit on the bigger side to try to thin the field. I'd like to get this pot heads up. I make a bet of 40, a fold, and then a call. We go heads up to the turn, which is a second queen. He checks. At this point, I decide I might as well check for pot control. So I check back. River's a 3 of clubs. Very safe card. He checks. Anybody who has any decent hand at this point, especially a queen, is going to lead out. He did not do so, so I'm safe to put in a little bet for value. Exactly that, I put a bet out for 50, hoping I'm going to get a call from him. Thinks about it for a while, finally calls, and is a little surprised with my hand.
Better hand than I thought you had.
Tells me good hand, and we take this one down as well. Then literally just a couple hands later, we get them again.
I'm gonna heal you if you put in a 3-bet.
Well, I want some healing then, my friend.
So at this point, my image is starting to look really active, and I'm on the button. I peel kings again. I just had kings, so I try to make it look like I'm making a move on the button, hoping someone would call, so I size up a little bit here. But as you can see, it didn't work. Everybody folds.
Now your friends, you go eat.
Yeah.
25.
I used to joke. Spending time around the table, family, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm from Philly. That's
Okay,
what
that's
we
what
do.
you got like.
Right? Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Like
Thank you. So the next hand I peel ace 9 of hearts. I'm on the small blind. There is a raise to 15. There are a few callers behind me, so I decide to defend.
4 players.
Flop is ace 10 8. I'm looking to check call here. I check, and the 3 players behind me check as well. Turn is a 7. So now I am open-ended with the ace. I decide to put out a bet. I put out a bet of 20. Nobody really seems that interested, so I'm kind of trying to extract value at this point. I do get 1 caller, and we go heads up. The river is another 8, pairing the board. Feels like a pretty safe card to me at this point, so I put another value bet in, just a small bet of 25. He raises it up to 100, and at this point, maybe my bet sizing looks really weak, and he's putting me to the test.
Right. I don't think you can bluff here, so.
But this is a pretty interesting spot for him to choose to bluff, in my opinion. I'm holding a 9, which really cuts down any straight possibilities on his end. He could have a better ace. He could have checked an 8 on the flop. This is a gross spot. My kicker's low. I have to just let it go. I can't really think that he's raising with a shittier hand than I have. So I go ahead and lay it down. The very next hand, I'm on the button, and I have 10 jack of spades. There's a raise ahead of me for 15. I call in position.
4 players.
Flop is 10 of diamonds, queen of spades, 6 of clubs. Everybody checks up to me. I have showdown value at this point, so I just check back and we go to the turn. Turn is a 7 of diamonds. At this point, one of the early position bets out 15. I call, everybody else folds, so we're heads up to the river. River is an 8 of diamonds, and he leads out 50. I've been a little suspicious of some of his bet sizing. This really doesn't make too much sense to me. I can't imagine he has a queen. And last time I saw him make a $50 bet on the river, it was a bluff. So with these factors, I decided to throw in the 1 chip signaling the call, and he says, nice call, once I flip my hand over. So I ran like God tonight. I picked my spots amazing. I literally only lost 1 hand that I played, and I look forward to the next session. Probably going to jump right back into another 2-5 game. Thanks for watching, guys.
The more you know who you are and what you want, the less you let things upset you.
that wraps up that session. It's 3:17 in the morning. I'm back on my iPhone, but I gotta wrap it up one way or another, and unfortunately I wasn't able to do any more breakdowns in the casino. So we're gonna do a little voiceover. Thank you for watching. I cashed out of $1,583, I believe. So it's in for 4, solid, almost $1,200 up for the night. Good session. Good to be back. Feeling that energy. Peru refreshed me, and we're gonna get back at it. Appreciate you guys watching. Leave a comment, thumbs up, and tell your friends to subscribe to this channel because we're gonna keep it off the chain for you guys. Have a good night.
The more you know who you are and what you want, the less you let things upset you.